Okay, so basically what we want to do is, so you say resources, go to resource tab, go to assign resources, there you have it. Then you click on the project that you want to, or the heading or whatever section that you want to assign resources to, and then it's going to show you warehouse project. And then for example, when I click on earthworks, it's going to show me earthworks. If I click on excavation for paired footings, it's going to show excavation for paired footings. If I click on intermediate excavation, it's going to show intermediate excavation. So we want to assign to our warehouse project, we want to assign a project manager and a supervisor. So what we do is we go look for project manager and supervisor, and then we assign these two guys to our project. So we assign our project manager and our supervisor, and there we have them. Now let's say you want your supervisor to be on the project full time, and you have maybe 2 projects, and you want your project manager to basically be 50% of the time. So you have 2 projects on different places, so you want your project manager to be 50% of the time for the day on this project, and on project 1, and on project 2 the other 50%. So you assign 50%, so which means for that project you will pay your supervisor, or for the 14 days you will pay your project manager 50,000 and your supervisor 21,000 rand. So we want to keep the duration the same, but we want to change the, so basically now the supervisor, the project manager, site supervisor, you've assigned them over the whole project. So now they are assigned over the whole project. So you don't need to go and assign a under earthworks. Maybe you don't need to go assign a supervisor here, because what would happen is that you're going to double charge the client, because now you have 2 supervisors on the site, which is something that you don't want. So basically you assign a supervisor over the whole project, because if you assign a supervisor here but you already assign it over the whole project, what's happening is it's telling you need to assign, you only assigned 1 supervisor, or you only have 1 supervisor available, but you are assigning 2. So it's going to warn you that you need to assign another supervisor, and it's going to double charge the client. So basically you don't want to double charge the client, because you say that you have 2 supervisors on the side, but then you only have 1 supervisor. So just make sure that you always assign 1 supervisor to the full project and a project manager. In this case we do it at the top so that it's included in the whole project. So after this, what we want to do is you want to start assigning, for example, let's say for your excavation works, what you might need is you might need an excavator. So you will say, you will come to your excavator, you might need a tipper truck, so you will assign a tipper truck. After that you will assign an excavator, because you have intermediate rocks and hard rocks. So basically what you want to do is you want to assign, let me just see if I find excavators. You want to assign excavator with a hydraulic hammer and a normal excavator. Okay, so now you have assigned resources to your earthworks, which the only resources that I see that you will need is a tipper truck, excavator, with hydraulic hammer, excavator, and then maybe when you are done you might need labor, guys to come just clean before you start casting. And then also what you need is you maybe need a dumpy level, and you might need a laser level as well. So dumpy level you will need, laser level you will need. Okay, I didn't assign a laser level, but let's just say for now you will need a dumpy level, and you would need labor maybe, and you think on that activity you might need 2 guys. Okay, so that's when you assign 2 guys. So now when you're done with this section, now basically you assign the dumpy level, the excavator, hydraulic hammer, the tipper truck, the 2 labors. You have basically assigned them over all of these resources, or over all of these tasks. So you don't need to go and assign them again. Like I don't need to go and say, okay, I think here with intermediate excavation I might need a tipper truck. You don't need to go and do that, because now what you're doing is you are double charging the client, and it's warning you. It's telling you that you have over allocated a resource. So whenever you go to your resource sheet, it's gonna show you that that warning sign. Let's just see, it's supposed to be here. So now you see, because you only have 1 tipper truck, and then now you said that you have 2, so it's either you will change it and say no, I have 2 tipper trucks in. But basically what you're still doing is you're double charging the client, because you say that you have 2 tipper trucks on that side. Now you already assigned 1, so you don't want to double assign it. So just go back and then change it. You don't want to assign a tipper truck, and usually it will show you what you assigned to a project, except for when it's a heading. Like when there's headings, it doesn't show. So here you assign something, but it doesn't show that you've assigned it. But whenever you come here, you will see all the things that you have assigned for that section or for that task. So let's just delete it. We don't want to assign the tipper truck again there, because we already have 1. And then after you're done with assigning whatever you need there, for example, you might need spades, with your labor guys. So this is also where you have to assign. Let's just say maybe you think, okay, now you will need spades. You might need pickaxe, spade. You think you might need this, a pickaxe, a rake, and then a spade. And you have 2 labors, so you think you might need 2 of each. So then you assign, and then you just change them to 2, because each labor should have 1. And basically usually it's going to give you a sign like this. Then you say you want to change the amount of equipment, but you want to keep the duration the same. Don't change, because remember that you assigned these as work. So whenever you come to your sheet, remember that you said that a spade, you assigned it as a work. So you're basically just saying you want to change the work. So you want to change the amount of equipment or whatever you assigned as a work. You want to change the amount. Remember, it's a work. So you want to change the amount of spades, but you want to keep the duration the same. That's all that you are saying. So basically after that, what you want to do is, now you're done assigning everything that you think you need here. You want to move to the next section. Now let's say we're done with this earthworks part. So now we want to come to backfill and treatment of footing soil. So what we might need here at the top is, we might need because we are backfilling, so we might need a TLB, and we are leveling, and a drum roller, and a whacker. Placing and leveling of import material. So this is where you will basically, under this section, what you want to do is you want to go put in, because you won't need it over the whole project, you won't need a drum roller here. So basically what you want to do is you want to say assign resources. You want to come here and then you want to see if you have this and you have that. You need a vibrated drum roller, you need a whacker, you might need a wheelbarrow, you will need a TLB to place the soil. Oops. So these are the ones that you need, and okay, that's it. And then you will need spades also, because you need to, so you will need a spade, and then you might need labor also. So the same, you can assign 2 labors again, 2 spades, wheelbarrows. Usually, let's just say you have 2, and then what you want to assign is racks also, because they have to level the soil. So let's say you want to assign the labors have to level it where the machines can't. And then what else you want to assign is a dumpy level, because you need to level it out, and basically the soil, the material, that's also what you need. So per cubic meter, so you think maybe you're gonna need 50 cubes, I'm just saying, or let's say you think you're gonna need 100 cubes, it's gonna cost you about 18,000. So there you can see the cost that it's costing you for 2 labors. It's costing you 400 for the 2 days. So after that, when you're done, so you can even check it out also. Let me just show you. So basically this is counting on 8 hours. So if you know that you give your general workers 25 rand per hour, 25 rand, and they work 8 hours, 2 days, and it's going to end up with 400 rand. So you can do the calculations for all of them and then see what you end up with if they correspond. So after that, what you want to do is you want to come to, and then what you can see here is a list. It's listing everything. It's telling you exactly what you assign to the project, what resources you assign to the project. The same is going to count for, when you assign resources to anti-treatment. With this you need a spray gun, because you need to spray the anti-termite. So you need a spray gun, you need the anti-termite treatment product, you need it. And there you can see 0 rand, because you didn't give a price yet for the termite treatment. So what you want to do is you want to come back, go to resource sheet, material, termite. Let's see. So let's say you think it's going to cost you 20 rand per liter. And basically what I want you to see is when I assign a labor, you just see labor. So I'm going to assign him, and basically this is what MS does. You see that was 1 day. So you have to go to that error, and then here it says reduce the duration but keep the same amount of work. You don't want the same amount of people. You want to increase the amount of people, so reduce the number. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to increase the amount of work, the amount of people, but you want to keep the duration the same. So you want to keep it at 1 day. So there you have it, 1 day, and then you can increase the duration, which is supposed to be 2. So we always do that. Change the amount of work but keep the duration the same, so that you know that it's going to stay at 1 day, and then it's just going to change the amount of work, the amount of people that you assign. So now you have a labor, 2 labors, and spray guns. You have 2 spray guns as well, and then you just want to change this because it's going to do the same thing. It's going to change because if you have 2 guns now, it's going to take it as now you can move twice as fast. But each labor should have a spray gun basically. And then this 20 rand a liter. So what you want to do is you want to have 10 liters that you assign, and then when you're done, it's going to show you here you have 2 labors now, you have 10 liters, and then you have 2 spray guns. So basically after that, what you want to do is you want to come to your next section, which is your casting of blinding section. So for this, what you will need is same, you want to start assigning your resources. Okay, so for this what you will need is concrete, or let's just say, since you won't do it yourself, you need to assign a concrete mixer or a concrete truck. So only thing we will assign is the concrete pump, and then what we want to assign is the in-situ concrete, which is, okay, you might need a dumpy level, you might need a float, might need a couple of levers, and then you will be using concrete instead of concrete. So you think you will need about 50 cubes, and you will need one concrete pump. It's only going to pump for 30%, which is around about 1.8 hours. So you want to come here and then you want to say change the amount of work but keep the duration the same. The dumpy level you will need one. The float you will need about, let's say, the same amount of labors. You think you will need all 4 labors on that project. So same, let's just say change the amount of work. So basically it's telling us that you don't have 4 labors, or it's giving us an error. So we have to come to our resource sheet and then see, okay, we only have 1 labor, so we have to assign 4. Oh, we only have 1 float, so we have to assign 4 floats. But I know that we have I know that we have 4 labors. So let's just go back there and assign resources again. Now let's say your labors, you're going to use all 4 guys. Then you just need to make sure that you select this 4 floats, 4 labor to level the top of the concrete. So the same with the okay, so in steel concrete you have 50 cubes that you want to cast. The concrete pump, you think it's going to take less than 30% of your hours. Okay, so you think it's going to take you less than 30% of your full working hours. Or let's just say, calculator, I think it's going to take me, we are working, because this is on 8-hour duration, so I think it's going to take me about 40%, 3 hours, let's say 2 hours. I think it's going to take, of the 8 hours, it's going to take me 35%, maybe. Yeah, let's say it's going to take me 30% for 8 hours. I don't want it to take too much time because it's just pumping concrete. So let's say it's going to take us 30%, which is about 2.4 hours, 2.5 hours. So 3 hours is enough. So we think it's going to take us 30%, and then 30% of our 8 hours, and then you will definitely need a vibrator to take out the air. So let's just go to concrete vibrator as well, and since we buy after 2.5, 2.5 hours, we will be done. So it just makes sense if I make this also 30%, and then we just make sure that we select it. So it's gonna cost us about 28 Rand 80 cents for the 2 hours, but it depends on your rates, your hourly rate. But once again, you can see, I think we said 2 Rand. 2 Rand times 30% times 8 hours times 6 days, 28 rand 80 cents. So that's how you get to that point. But, okay, then we're done basically. So after that, what you want to do is you probably want to start assigning. Okay, for example, here what I did was I don't think we need to assign the amount of concrete here, so I'm just going to remove it. So let's say, for example, you did the calculations on your volume and so on, and you think for this your concrete that you need is about, you think for this it's about, let's say, I'm not sure, I'm just assuming, let's say you think it's about 4.5 cubes. So then you're done there, assigning it as 4.5 cubes. And basically what this is going to do, it's going to even show you that you've assigned 4.5 cubes of concrete. And it's going to tell you also there next to your bar chart. So the same for the next one. You think, okay, for this one, you think you're going to assign, let's see, institute concrete. Here you think you might, because strip footing is a bit more than that. So let's say you think you might assign 8 cubes of concrete for that. And the same for your surface bed slab, you think it's a bit more, you think you might need around about 12 cubes. You think you might need about 12 cubes. So concrete cured for 1 day, 28 days. So basically that's how you assign your resources. And now this you would obviously get by doing your calculations on your volume. You might have a 50 millimeter blinding, half a meter in length and in breadth, so it's going to be 0.5 multiplied by 0.5 multiplied by 0.05 to get your volume. And for the others, when you have triangle, you might use your your triangular calculation, volume calculation, get your triangles for your rims, maybe if you have rims, and then the same for your slab and for your surface bed. But this is just basically giving you a brief explanation of how you assign resources. So after you've done part of assigning resources, what you want to do is you want to come to the top. There's a square at the top. You want to go click right and then go to cost, and then it's going to give you the cost basically for each section. So let me just show you. Now you can see for that section it costs you 11,000 something, 23,000 something, 20,000 something, and that's how you can find your cost on that. And for resources, you also have a section here. When you go to the top and you go to cost, it's giving you the actual prices for each section.